Welcome everybody, Jaye Wellness here with you, and I'm here with the great Dr. Johnny Keto. That's right. Episode 1, Doc.
Episode 1, yes sir.
Episode 1. I've been waiting to get this live for a while now, and I know you have as well, so thanks for your patience. I marvel your patience because I have none.
No worries. I get it.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's been a busy year for you.
Yeah, definitely. It's been quite a ride this year. 2020 has been nothing much short of eventful, for sure. All right. Thank you, Doc. I appreciate that. And so I guess it's good time now. Let's jump into our first episode 1 of the Wellness Workshop. Let's jump into our discussion. Today's topic is, how do you maintain 2020 stress? We say 2020 stress because we all know what's going on right now with COVID-19. We all are dealing with our own battles and struggles. And so some ways, obviously, we all have stress. That's a proper response from the body. But what if you can't turn it off? And obviously, Doc, I want to get your take on this as well. But what I would say on my point of view as far as dealing with the 2020 stress, the current stress we're dealing with right this minute, is there's a few tips that you can do. The first tip, and these are all going to be straight up, these are going to be doable tips. Sometimes you read things online and it says things like take a trip, go out of the country, jump up and go camping, it's hard to do those things right now, obviously, but so when you look up these things online, you're not getting current event advice of what you can do. And sometimes we have children. Sometimes we have strict work schedules. We have a lot of obligations. We can't just jump up and do whatever we can, or yoga for 2 hours a day. That's some of these things that you see online.
A bit challenging.
Yeah, some of these things are just not going to happen with normal people. So I wanted to get into some logical things. And if you can work that out, by all means, great, that's perfect. But some people cannot. So I just wanted to get into some logical things we can do for ourselves. One of the first things you can do is to do that task at home, that project that you've been putting off for a while. Dive into it. Honestly, I have been putting off a lot of my projects, and I will tell you that a few of them I've completed. One being this, for example, being able to do a podcast with Doc here, Dr. Keto. One of the things that I've been wanting to do for so many months now. So when you dive into something that you've been putting off, or you had to put off, you actually start to have a better outlook mentally. You're starting to really think, okay, despite current events, I'm still able to get things done. And you're taking advantage of that time. And some of us, obviously you can't always dive into those projects, but if you're at home already and those projects are at home, what better way to go ahead? I talked to a few people in the studio here, a couple of the guys here. He's been wanting to clean out his garage. That was the big thing. Not just clean it out, but do a whole new flooring, put a whole new flooring in. And that's awesome. And then I talked to a few other guys. They've been wanting to really do some work on their bathroom, get their bathroom up to par, put in a new sink and different things like that. Those are great things that you can do. And I try to appeal to the masses here. Not everybody has a home, or owns a home, or lives in a home. So it's not always going to be home related tasks that are going to be what you are able to tackle. Some of these projects can just be physical projects. Here at the Wellness Workshop here, physical tasks, being able to work on pumping a little more weight, or adding a little bit more this, a little bit more of that in your diet, a little more greens, a little bit more just structuring your diet this time, instead of just kind of diving in whenever you can. These are all little mini projects within the circumstances we're dealing with that you can actually implement. And it's really interesting. When you think project, you talk to people, you say project, they automatically think go put something together or go fix something. It's not always a project with your hands as far as hardware or repair or things like that. A project can be finishing a book. I have been able to dive in more to things that I never got a chance to. I had bookmarks saved on my web pages that I never looked at. Things that I wanted to do in the future and read through and learn and get acclimated. These are things that are going to help you somewhat combat what's going on. I'm not going to tell you these things are going to completely eliminate your worry, your concern, or your anxiety. These are tools to help minimize and possibly, yes, get rid of a lot of it. So take what I'm saying into, take it into consideration. This is definitely something that's going to help. I can guarantee you, when you implement a project that you would normally be able to do. I mean, who's able to stay home on a Wednesday at 2 o'clock and start working on things, or 10 o'clock, start working on things? Then that's really awesome if you can. And I know some are looking for work, and I understand that's very hard for people out there. But in the middle of looking for work, why not work on something? Keep your mind busy. So anyways, I just wanted to throw that out there. Projects can be a mass of things, and that's going to really help you. Obviously, Doc, being a family man as well, I'm sure with your family at home, this is very challenging. And then, of course, you add in your long hours and having to deal with where you're working and things like that. What's some advice as far as, because we're talking about stress, what are some things that you can tell working people that are not at home as much, but those ones that are out there doing their jobs, are very important people in the world that have to cautiously go to work every day? And I'm sure that's very stressful. What are some things that you do, and then things that you can maybe shed some light on, or things that can be better, or better ways that they can protect themselves and their families?
Definitely. Well, obviously be aware of your surroundings for sure. I always tell my patients that. All you can do is your absolute best to avoid this thing. There is no perfect remedy, unfortunately. Stressing about what surface it's on and who is carrying it will drive you nuts. One of the biggest things you can do is get in hero mode every time you are working or putting yourself in harm's way. When you are focused on the task at hand, you develop a courageous, hero-like attitude to just do what you need to do to help others. Your adrenaline is going and you won't stop until you complete what is necessary. Obviously, not to put yourself in danger, but to those firefighters, nurses, doctors, environmental staff, waitresses, is to remember why you're doing it in the first place. We all are important, and it's just extending ourselves to tone this virus down.
Right.
You touched on this earlier, but stress is stress. 2020 stress is more of an identifier. This year has definitely brought on its own stress for sure. Some things I do is to count my blessings. I know it sounds super easy and juvenile, but developing mentally the gratitude of what is worthy seems to induce more feel-good vibes. Many will hate me for saying this, but most stress is in our own hands. Play with your kids more, take a simple walk. Write letters to your significant other. Cheesy stuff to some, but it helps. Simplicity is going to be key to bring that stress down. Have a more, I can do this kind of attitude. Together we can do this.
Alrighty, folks, that will conclude our podcast for today with myself and
Dr. Johnny Keto. Hey man, thanks for having me on the show today.
Because even on our podcast, I'd like to leave you with this. Being well is feeling well. Feeling well is doing well. Doing well is living well. Take care, everybody. We're signing out.